We grow up chained to the belief that there is only one way to live. We are shipped off to elementary school, followed by middle school and high school. We go to college because we are told it will enable us to get a stable, well-paying job. The money earned from this well-paying job will allow us to finance a fancy car. You eventually get married because that's what you're supposed to do. You throw an extravagant wedding so that you can entertain all your family and friends. Now that you're married, you purchase your dream house. You start having children, and then you get a second car to serve as the family car. As your children grow, you teach them the way of the system in which you grew up. While paying for all your children's stuff and education, in addition to your toys and your significant other's interests, you work until you are 65. After working for 40 years, you are lucky enough to retire and look forward to living your life on your own terms for the next 10 to 15 years. Then, you die. When we enter the job market, we quickly become chained by our wages and to the thought that there is only one way to make a living, and that is exchanging your time for money. We do this for 5 days of the week and reward ourselves by spending what we earned on things that make us happy. Our lifestyles become dependent upon our wages. We live paycheck by paycheck. If we want a better lifestyle, we exchange even more of our time for more money. We become so focused on making a living for that dream lifestyle, but we don't even spend the time living it, let alone enjoying it. In the back of our minds, we fear losing our jobs because we will no longer be able to afford the lifestyle we created for ourselves. For most of us, we can never imagine setting ourselves free from the job market. We only see the job market as our primary source of income, yet we never ponder other legal alternatives for making a living. We can't even imagine earning a living that doesn't require the exchange of our time. From our earnings, or lack thereof, we create a lifestyle based on what we can buy and show off to society rather than our values and character. We believe in the illusions that people are rich and happy based on what we see, like a large house with a pool, especially in a suburban neighborhood, or a fancy new car. What people don't see is that a good percentage of them are drowning in debt. Most of what they own is bought on credit. They only pay the minimum on their credit card bills. For some, they first buy the things they want and barely have enough left over to buy the things they actually need to survive. Because they are in debt up to their eyeballs, they work a ton of hours to try and stay afloat. They are a slave to their debt. The only end in sight they have for themselves is being freed at the age of 65, if they are lucky to retire then. We also believe in the illusions that people are poor and unhappy because perhaps they send their children to public school, they drive an old car or decide to bike to work, they use coupons and scan their receipts, or perhaps they live in a small house or an apartment. What people don't see is that the ones who appear to be, quote, poor and unhappy, unquote, are masters of their money. They're not bound to debt. They live off of a reasonable percentage of their earnings while saving and investing the majority of their paycheck. They can quit their jobs whenever they want and travel for an extended period of time because they have enough savings set aside. They are able to live life on their own terms because they have their finances in order and live within their means. Which life do you want to live? A free and abundant life, or a life where you're shackled and imprisoned? In Plato's cave, the system is maintained by the prisoners. They don't question what they see. They go along with everything, believing what the system tells them as absolute truth. They continue imprisoning themselves because that's what the other prisoners are doing. It's easy to fit in by going along with everyone else. In reality, we continue to imprison ourselves by submitting ourselves to our consumer culture. What do we do to reward ourselves? Well, we buy something. What do we do to celebrate an occasion? We make a fancy reservation. What do we do when we are too lazy to do something ourselves? Usually, we pay someone else to do it. Now, what do we do when we don't want to do something by hand? Typically, we buy a machine or tool to do it for us. And what do we do when we want something but don't have the money to buy it? We buy it anyway with a credit card or loan. Rather than figuring out in the present how to make a purchase responsibly, we decide to figure it out later. We buy things emotionally and later use logic to justify the purchase. Consequently, we become more bounded to debt because we've exchanged more of our time to pay off the additional debt we have accumulated. Why is it that we must buy something or pay money to fulfill the daily moments in our lives? Let's look at those questions again. How else could you reward yourself, or celebrate an occasion, or complete the task you were too lazy to do? How else could you complete the tasks you need to do by hand, or how else could you buy something you want, but don't have the money currently to buy it? Share your creative answers with the Udemy community by posting your responses in the comments. I would love to see what you all come up with. Now, many of you may be wondering, what's required to leave the cave? To break out of this broken system, you must ignore the naysayers. People will criticize you and tell you that you can't achieve your goal because they themselves have failed. They do not know how to do it themselves. They don't have the creativity, imagination, and willpower like you do to succeed. You must lead your life by defining your own life rules. Design your own map of your life and determine how you will navigate it. You must hold yourself accountable and responsible for how you live your life, how you take care of yourself, how you spend your time, and with whom you surround yourself. You must reprogram your mindset. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Your old way of thinking is what got you to where you are today. To propel yourself to a new level in life, you must change your mindset and eliminate the mental chains that are holding you back. You have to stop sabotaging yourself and take action today. To really leave the cave, you need to define your purpose for living. Think about it. Why are you on this earth? Why are you still on this earth? What mark do you want to leave on the world? And what motivates you to get out of bed every morning? There's never the perfect time to take action. The right time is right now. You don't have to be awesome to start, but you must start to be awesome. How badly do you want it? For a majority of you taking this course, you don't want it badly enough. Let me repeat that. You don't want it badly enough. Let's have an honest conversation with each other. Where you are in life is based on your choices. You are not a master of your money because you don't want to be. You've chosen the financial situation in which you currently are. You're not living life on your own terms because you have chosen not to do so. You're not financially independent because you have chosen not to be. You are only as successful as you choose to be. Why are you not as financially successful as you could be? You don't want it badly enough. There are several reasons that can explain why you don't want it badly enough. For one, you really don't care. When challenges arise, you quickly give up. You continuously question yourself. You don't hold yourself responsible and accountable for your actions. Or you're okay with the fact that your life isn't going in the direction you desired. You're too afraid to step up to the plate and make a change. You constantly look to others to solve your problems. Or you blame others when things don't work out rather than yourself. This one takes the cake. Other people want it more for you than you do for yourself. Nothing can be done or will change until you want it as badly for yourself. What does it look like when you do want it badly enough? Your desire for success is greater than your fear of failure. More progress is made toward your goals because you are taking the necessary actions. When you are 100% committed, you do not encounter the same problems as those who don't want it badly enough. When challenges arise, you conquer them. Most importantly, your actions reflect your values. How do you know if you're walking the walk as much as you talk the talk? Here's how you can gauge whether you do indeed want it badly enough. Let's reflect on your previous week. You know what needed to get done, and you know what actions you had to take. Well, did you do it? Did you meet your goals? How did you measure up? If you fell short, you're not as committed as you say you are. Were your goals reasonable and realistic enough for you to achieve, especially in the time frame that you gave yourself? Or did you set yourself up for failure? Reflect on your why. That is, why you're doing all this in the first place. What success were you trying to achieve given the goals you had in place? What is it that you really value? When you do want it badly enough for yourself and are 100% committed to your why, you will be able to master your money, achieve financial independence, retire early, and live life completely on your own terms. Knowing now what you need to do, how do you do it? First, you have to get your mind right. In the next module, you will develop the right mindset that will help you achieve financial independence so that you can retire early and start living life on your own terms. In this module, you learned how the everyday person is chained to his or her wages and imprisoned by the system of consumerism. We also discussed the conventional life cycle of the ordinary person. You now know, however, what it takes to break free and what the initial steps are to becoming financially free and extraordinary. In the next module, we're going to discuss your mindset and how to get your mind right for financial success and the one thing you need to know to master your money. Here's an action to take in order to start implementing what you learned thus far, and that is establish your why statement. Remember to post your key takeaways in the comment section along with your questions. Also, feel free to share the actions you have taken and your results thus far.